Hello and welcome to the third chapter of The Amazing Maurice by Terry Pratchett. We begin this chapter, like every other chapter, with a page from a book from Mr. Bunsey Has an Adventure. "Never go into the dark wood, my friend," said Ratty Rupert. "There are bad things in there. And I wonder what bad things the rats might find in the dark woods of Bad Blintz. Or under the town, rather, which is where we begin this chapter, with the rats under the town of Bad Blintz. Old towns are like that. People build down as well as up, cellars butt against other cellars, and some get forgotten, except by creatures who want to stay out of sight. The rats light a single candle in the darkness. Ham and Pork asks Dangerous Beans if he can really see it. "Yes, sir." And there's a note here that says the rat word for sir isn't a word. It is a momentary crouch, indicating that just at the moment, the crouching rat is prepared to accept that the other rat is boss, but that he or she shouldn't get funny about it. Dangerous Beans says, "Yes, sir. I am not completely blind. I can tell the difference between light and dark." Ham and Pork doesn't like the light. Darkness was good enough for their parents, and it was a waste of food to light a candle instead of eating it. Dangerous Beans says that with the flame they make a statement. We are not just rats. We are the clan. Peaches mentions the younger rats are saying that the shadows frighten them, and they talk for a while about the dark, about Maurice, and when Peaches has the nerve to suggest they get organized, about how Peaches refuses to rook with Ham and Pork. "How would you like us to get organized, sir?" she asks. "Just get organized. Don't bother me with the details. I am the leader." He stalks off into the shadows. Dangerous Beans comments that the base is a perfect place for rats. "Right," says Darktan. "And do you know what's worrying me about that?" People listened to Ham and Pork because he was the leader, but they listened to Darktan because he was often telling you things that you really, really needed to know if you wanted to go on living. "There aren't any rats here, except us. A town like this should be full of them." Peaches is dismissive, saying that the other rats are probably scared of them. Darktan taps his muzzle. "Things don't smell right. They were given noses, and it pays to listen to them." He assembles the platoons. They had discovered a book, an amazing book, with pictures of animals wearing clothes, and all of them talked, and none of them ate any of the others, and they all talked to humans who treated them like smaller humans. No traps, no poisons, nothing truly bad ever happened. Even when the rabbit got lost in the dark wood, he just had a little bit of a scare. Mr. Bunsey Has an Adventure was the cause of much discussion amongst the changelings. What was it for? Was it, as Dangerous Beans believed, a vision of some bright future? Had it been made by humans? The shop had been for humans, true, but surely even humans wouldn't make a book about Ratty Rupert the rat who wore a hat and poisoned the rats under the floorboards at the same time, would they? How mad would anything have to be to think like that? Which is, of course, a bit of shade on fucking Peter Rabbit. They actually filmed the live action Peter Rabbit. They actually filmed literally just down the road from my house. There's a scene with like a river and a bridge and some stuff happens on it. I don't know, I haven't actually seen the fucking thing, but they filmed it right down the road from my house, and we had to repeatedly talk to the people blocking the road and say, yes, we are literally from that one road down the house. And they were like, you've been past like 4 times already. Are you sure you live there? And we're like, yeah, we have lives and have errands to run. But it wasn't too bad. Because it was only for like a couple days. But yeah, it was cool to have happen in our town. I live in a town where many things are filmed. It's a pretty small country town, but it's kind of close enough to Sydney that it's still Sydney. She lies. Most Sydneyers wouldn't call it Sydney, but I will, because I am from here. So that's a very exciting Peter Rabbit fact to interrupt this 5 minutes in. 5 minutes in without interruption. Some of the younger rats had suggested that perhaps clothes were more important than everyone thought. They tried wearing waistcoats, but they caught on every splinter and were hard to run in, and hats just fell off. What Dark Tan wore was more of a network of belts rather than a waistcoat. It had pockets, which had been a good idea, like having extra paws. Some of the rest of the squad had taken up the idea too. You never knew what you would need, and on the Trap Disposal Squad, it was a tough, ratty life. He assigns the number 3 platoon to whittling and the number 2 platoon to the cheeky stuff. Stealing food from cats' bowls and pies from under cooks' noses. False teeth from old men's mouths, says one who seems to be dancing on the spot. He wore a hat, the only rat who did. Made it work by shoving his ears through it. Dark Tan grins at this rat, Sardines, and says that it was just a fluke, ordering him to stop telling the kids about how he went for a swim in someone's bathtub, because yes, I know you did, but the younger rats might not be able to climb out if they try it. He gives them all their orders and asks Sardines not to tap dance too much, which Sardines rejects. The number 1 platoon is the Trap Squad, the smallest. It's full of rats who are slow and patient and thorough. Those who weren't could join, but they didn't last long. Dark Tan warns them that this is a new town, with new traps and new poisons, to be slow and not be like the first mouse. The second mouse gets the cheese. As he gives orders, a young rat raises a paw, nourishing, new to the Trap Disposal Squad, after being too embarrassed at being a whittler. You said the second mouse gets the cheese, sir. That's right, squad motto. Remember it is your friend. But, doesn't the first mouse get something, sir? Dark Tan raises his voice to address the squad. What does the first mouse get? The trap. And don't you forget it. Dark Tan tells Peaches that the town should be looking for a new rat catcher by tomorrow. Peaches reminds him that they might have to stay longer. Some of the ladies are going to have their babies soon. When Dark Tan says it may not be safe, Peaches tells him to tell it to Big Savings, the old head female that even Ham and Pork tries to stay on the good side of. Besides, the Kikis keep out of the way of the changelings. Dark Tan goes to join his squad, and Peaches and Dangerous Beans discuss Ham and Pork. He's getting old. He fears a challenge. Dangerous Beans mentions the Rook comment from earlier. Peaches says that the ladies are more choosy. They want fathers who can think. Dangerous Beans approves. They do not need to rely on numbers. They are the changelings. When Dangerous Beans is thinking, it's like he's staring into a world that only he can see. What is it this time? She asked. I have been thinking that we shouldn't kill other rats. No rat should kill another rat. Even the kikis, she queried. They are rats too. Peaches shrugged. Well, I've tried talking to them, and that didn't work. Anyway, they mostly stay away these days. Dangerous Beans was still staring into the unseen world. Even so, he said quietly, I should like you to write it down. Peaches moved over to one of the packs the rats had carried in and took out her bag. From that, a piece of lead and a grubby piece of paper. She smoothed it out and looked down the list. The first thought had been, in the clan is strength. Most rats could not read human words. The squiggles don't make sense. So she did her best to make writing they could read. Writing had led to trouble with ham and pork. It had taken him years to learn the tricks he'd learned. Why should he give it all away? Dangerous Beans had said, we cooperate or we die. The last on the list was not to whittle where you eat. Pretty obvious, really. She grasped the piece of lead in both paws and carefully drew, no rat to kill another rat. Supposing you have to, she asked. Then you have to, said Dangerous Beans. But you shouldn't. No! Go away. Dangerous Beans came up with thoughts that no other rat did. What is a rat? And who were we made by? Which had led the big rat deep under the ground theory. I promise I actually practiced saying that repeatedly, because for some reason I can't get my mouth around the words. Big rats listened to the little rat because he led them into dark territory and seemed to be the only one with an idea of where they were going. Peaches checked in on Ham and Pork, who was insistent at not needing anything and it being fine. But she knew what other rats traditionally did to the leaders who were too old, driven out to go rotten and funny in the head. She wrote another thought. We are the changelings. We are not like other rats. And that is the end of that chapter. So the changelings are still changing. And that's a big theme for the rest of the book. The change that the rats go through and what it means to be something. To be human, essentially. Like, how do we separate the right from the wrong, and what makes us intelligent and stuff. It's and the change in everything and what that means as well is a big theme. Which, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. The rat writing is really cool. I really like it. How the words are represented. Like the big rat made out of little rats to represent clan strength. That's really good. And yeah, book. I didn't say in the thing, but the book was found in Uncle Moore book. In a bookshop there. They've been carrying it for a very long time. And you get the idea that it's almost especially in the later chapters, you get the idea that it's basically like a Bible of hoop, if that makes sense. Like, it's almost religious for them. They view it almost as a prophecy. And yeah. My chapters are getting shorter, which I think is good. And I think I'm doing my best to preserve Terry Pratchett's writing because, I mean, that's what makes him special. Like, I know that sounds dumb to say about an author that their writing makes them special, but I think it is. The way that Terry Pratchett writes prose to be light and funny even during the dark bits, and to be dark even during the funny bits, it's really good. And I think that's a lot of what makes a Terry Pratchett book a Terry Pratchett book, apart from just the story and just the thoughts behind it and the messages behind it and the ideas behind it and blah 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 blah. It's very much his writing and his writing style which makes things work so well. So I want to try and preserve that while I'm abridging, and not just like skim over quite everything, but at the same time not just read the book word for word, because that's not abridging. So yeah. Let me know your theories, those of you who have not read the book before, on what may be happening in the town. As you think of it, as you hear these chapters, let me know. Because there is something happening in the town, and it is something. So yeah, let me know. That might start discussion. You should have discussions. I like it when there are comments on things that I do and there aren't any yet. I'm probably getting like super way ahead of myself with this shit. Because, yeah. But, yeah, I like comments and discussion and niceness, and I don't know whether I'm doing a fantastic job yet, but I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will get very, very good at doing these. Yes. I will keep trying to make more chapters happen, and I will look at my list of books for the next thing I do, because I'm actually really enjoying this. It's fun, even if nothing else, it's fun. And it makes me feel a bit better because I can kind of pretend I still have friends still. That sounds kind of sad. I have like actual real life friends. I just get bored as fuck. So anyway, yeah, that's me. Sorry if you can hear banging in the video, by the way. There is construction happening where I am, which is not the best conditions for anything, but I need to get this shit done. Okay, thank you for listening. I'll see you next time. Farewell. I'm gonna eat my Dunkaroos. I haven't had Dunkaroos in ages. Bye.